Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to Faith and Film. Tim Risto here. Hope you're having an awesome day today, and may God bless your day going forward from here. Hey, we have been talking about the film Solomo lately here on the show. That is the latest film from Angel Studios starring Kevin James. It's a rom-com. Giving you my full review on it already. Did a video all about the opening weekend box office. That was last weekend. And of course, this having just been Valentine's Day weekend, that is the weekend we really wanted to check up on because that was the target for this film. It's a rom-com, so naturally Valentine's Day in particular, but Valentine's Day weekend is really what this film was aiming for its best box office performance. That is when couples, married couples, dating couples, whatever, are going to go see a rom-com. And this is a good one. This is a great one, I personally believe. And so it should do really well this past weekend, right? It should have done really well. Has it? Let's check it out. Let's go ahead and look over at the box office performance. Here at the numbers, we can see it brought in now a total of $17.9345 million. So nearly $18 million to date. And that's across 11 days. So again, for this type of film, for this Angel Studios film, for a rom-com, and for this time of year, that's good. That's very strong. And as you can see here, if we scroll down to the box office chart, you see we've got that yellow line. That's the performance of the film across this time period. And the shaded area is, as it says here, the expected performance range for a film based on its opening weekend box office. So again, that opening weekend, which we looked at those box office numbers, we're in the 7 million to 7.7 million there after the opening weekend on that Monday was 7.7. And so if that yellow line, goes along the trajectory of that shaded area, then, it's performing as expected. If it falls below the shaded area, it's not performing as it's below expectations. And if it's above, it's exceeding expectations. Well, as you can see, it stayed along the top of that shaded area and then broke out here on the 13th, the start of Valentine's Day weekend, and has exceeded it since then. It seems to be going really strong so far. So that is great news. It has done well. Let's scroll down to the bottom here. We'll look at the daily box office performance. Again, we were looking at it around day 3 and day 4 in my last video where we saw that $7 to $7.7 million range for the opening weekend. I can see here across days 4 through 7 here throughout this past week leading up to Valentine's Day weekend, it went from that 7.7 all the way up to 10.5 on the 12th. So good numbers for the week leading up to Valentine's. But the real question again is, how did it do on Valentine's Day weekend? This was its target, in particular Valentine's Day. So we can see on the 13th, it brought in $1.4 million. That is a 99% increase over the previous day. Nice, strong number there, which made it brought its total box office take at that point to 11.9, nearly $12 million. Then on the 14th, Valentine's Day itself, it had a 148% increase over its previous day. That was a $3.5 million take that day, bringing the total to 15.5 there on day 9. Very, very good for this film. February 15th then, it saw a little drop off, 1.4, almost 1.5 million. Stronger still than the 13th, the day before, but that was a 58% drop off and brought it up to 17 million. And then yesterday, Monday the 16th, which was a federal holiday, so some people had off work and could go to the movies. It saw a 40% drop, brought in $900,000, almost $1 million, bringing the box office take right now to 17.9, nearly $18 million. So it did have a very strong Valentine's Day weekend, in particular Valentine's Day. Obviously, a lot of people went out to see it. Let's hop over to the summary real quick. I want to talk briefly about that $17.9 million box office take and discuss just for a second about, how we determine if that is a success for this film. Is that box office a successful take for this film? We did this a little bit in the last video when we talked about opening weekend for this film. Let's look at it here now after the Valentine's Day weekend. So 17.9, let's round it up to $18 million just for ease of discussion's sake. It will no doubt make that this coming week for sure. Hopefully the film sticks around a couple more weeks. But again, if we look down here at the production budget, that is $4 million. We talked about this last time. It took $4 million to make this film. Very reasonable budget. And Hollywood should take notice of more of that range or that level of budget or things more in that kind of range, $4 to $10 million or something like that, because then it is easier to make back your money when you have obviously a smaller budget. The days of the Marvel expanded budgets, I think, are largely over because they just can't make back the money anymore. So looking at that, it took $4 million to make the film. I mentioned last time I was guessing about $500,000, $500,000 to market the film. There's some kind of marketing cost involved. It could be less than that. It could be more than that, but that's kind of my guess. I think that's a safe bet. So to promote the film, they had to spend some money for that. So again, let's do the math here real quick. Rounding it up to that $18 million box office take, that's what it's made so far. It has to share 50% of that with the theater chains that show the film. So subtract $9 million right off the bat to pay off the theaters. Okay, that comes out of that box office take. Subtract $4 million for what we know is the production budget. Then subtract $500,000, $500,000 for, again, my guesstimate of what the marketing costs would be. And then that leaves you with your grand total to date of what the actual profit of for this film, Solomo, is, and that's $4.5 million roughly. So there you go. Is it a success? Well, yes, it's made a profit of $4.5 million, which again, ironically, is the or not so ironically, is the production budget plus my guesstimate of the marketing cost, $4.5 million. So technically, you have a profit right now to make another Solomo. You could make a sequel with another $4 million budget and a $500,000 marketing cost. If they wanted to, they could make Solomo 2, an equivalent kind of film. Obviously, it will go on, again, hopefully another couple weeks at least. And with good word of mouth and strong critical reaction, we'll take a look at that again here briefly. Carrying it forward, hopefully there'll be a lot of people going back for these repeat viewings of the film that just found it enjoyable and charming, want to see it again in theaters before it leaves. It's going to make more than that. Will it double its box office? I don't know about that. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it end up in the $35 to $40 million range. Don't know if that'll happen. We'll keep an eye on it, and maybe I'll do an update video down the road to see how it's doing. But this was the key weekend, Valentine's Day and Valentine's Day weekend was the key point. So it probably will drop off steeply from here, but it does have a strong start. It is a success. It has made a profit enough to, again, make a sequel if they wanted to, which would be fun. I wouldn't mind a sequel to it. Some of you may be like, no, this is a one-off, it's charming, great film. Leave it at that. But honestly, I feel like the time spent with a lot of these characters, including, Kevin James and Nicole Gramato, a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind seeing what happens next. Kevin James and his bros, played by Kim Coates and Jonathan Roumie, were a fun collection of characters. It'd be neat to spend more time with them. It's one of the things I admire about this film. I don't feel like you spent too much time with any of the characters. It was a good balance, and by the end of the film, I was like, that was great. It left me wanting more. I'd love to see, and spend more time with those characters, but we'll see what happens from there. Let's jump over quick again to Rotten Tomatoes, see what the ratings are looking like there for Solomo. There you can see The tomato meter is up to 80% based on 41 reviews. I think last time we looked at this after opening weekend, it was around 34, 36 reviews, something like that. It was at 74, 76%. So it has gone up, and that's with 33 fresh and only 8 rotten. I think that's about where it was. It was either at 6 or 8 rotten in the last video. So this has gone up. More critics have reviewed it, up to 41, and more critics like it, continue to find it fresh. Back in my mind, I kept thinking if this film hits about 86% with the critics, that would be really nice. And may get there yet. I don't know how many more critics are going to review it. But popcorn meter, of course, is 96% with a verified audience. That's with 1,000 plus verified ratings. That's where that was last time. All audiences, 94%. With 1,000 plus ratings there, and that's where that was too. So very consistently strong with audiences. No drop there. Continues to be very highly regarded by audiences. So that remains strong. And with the critics, it's going up. So really, really good sign. So everything across the board about this film is that it's a success. It's financially a success. It's a hit with critics, and it's a big hit with audiences. So that's great. I love it. Again, if you watch my review, you know what I think of this film. If you haven't, go check it out. I give a pretty decent detailed review of the film. I love it, in short. I just think it's a great, great film. So glad to see it having success. We'll see what happens in the weeks ahead yet, how much it actually makes. And again, maybe I'll do a follow-up video near the end of its run or somewhere down the road here to catch up with it and see how it's doing. Again, there's a good chance it's going to steeply drop off here after Valentine's, but it's a good film. It's a hit. It's entertaining, so it may have some legs yet. We'll just have to wait and see. That's all I got for today. I'll go out, watch a great Christian or faith-based film. Watch Solomo if you haven't seen it yet. But remember, above all else, stay in God's Word. Blessings, y'all. See you next time. Have a great one.